Hello, everybody. My name is Josh. I've got my finger on the pulse of music. Yeah, that's right. Welcome for another edition of our stream for this week. I guess gotta get it quickly out of the way. You're seeing it right behind you. I didn't really end up feeling like streaming the Boundaries album this week. I know that's what it said we would be doing today, but I think instead we should focus on another recent release, and that's I'm Not a Sad Boy by Broken Side. Crunk Core Classics trying to make a comeback, released on March 1st, 2024. April Fools. This band is Boundaries that we're listening to today. Based on the chat, the majority of us have seen Boundaries live, which is pretty cool. But interestingly, it was really, really hard to find stuff about them. They don't have a Wikipedia page. They have 140K monthly listeners, but no Wikipedia page. I mean, I feel like we got to start like commissioning these bands to make some About Me pages or something like that, because how else am I supposed to do this incredibly labor-intensive job without like a Wikipedia to get me there? Anyway, Boundaries, they're from Hartford, Connecticut. They are on 3 Dot Records, which I find to be really fun. That's Periphery's record label. So anyone who's into that more technical side of metalcore and kind of more progressive music, that's this comes from that world as well. They have 4 albums. This is their 4th album. If you count Hartford County Misery, which was their first EP/album that they put out in 2017. Other than that, the immediately preceding album was Burying Brightness from 2022. These guys are cranking out albums every 2 years. They're very busy boys, these Connecticut gentlemen. So this Boundaries has sort of had a bit of a sound progression, I would say. And their initial work, particularly Hartford County Misery, real slow, sludgy, kind of beat down, almost even doomy sounding. Just like, they introduce a riff and then they slow that riff down to halftime and they slow that riff down a little bit again. It's like, it was just really like heavy stuff in the beginning. And then over time, over their next 2 albums, they started to integrate a little bit more of a metalcore influence, a little bit more, some clean vocals here and there, but also a little bit more guitar work and riffage, I would say. Yes, they had this sort of like progression of sound, and I'm really interested to see like how that progresses with this album, because Burying Brightness was definitely their most like metalcore sound and their most like kind of clean and technical at the same time. This album here, Death is a Little More. I'm going to say that all night, a little more. It's not a little more. It's little more than what? Why does that matter? Because the band named this album after some verses, some writing in the Dante's Inferno. I believe it's Inferno. I actually didn't write down if it's Inferno or not, but it's some writing by Dante. And the title comes from this. Dante mentions dying would be barely worse than living in a bitter black forest of existence. Death is Little More is about life at its most difficult. You're not going to end your life, but you're so stressed and overwhelmed that your life ending would feel like just another incident on the list. And that concept stuck with me. That's the vocalist of Boundaries, Matt McDougall. So that's what we're in for tonight. Sounds like a pretty dark and challenging place. I would expect nothing less. I got another quote on the meaning of the album from Matt McDougall, vocalist here. Death is Little More is the culmination of our efforts at their deepest and darkest. We wanted to create something that embraces, frightens, and calls the listener to action. It's 1 part diary and 1 part doomsday. Love that. I love it when you can sum up a concept in like one sentence. That's like I know exactly what that means, and that's scary. It's definitely frightening. So I'll be interested to see where it goes from there. You can see the album artwork. We always kind of take a look at the album artwork. There it is. I can give it to you in bigger form, kind of there. It's a little zoomed in. I got nothing on this. I don't know. Give me your theories. What do we think this looks like in the chat? What are we working with here? It certainly feels haunting to me. Um, and obviously I kind of feel like it feels like something pressing its face like through cling wrap, like trying to break through to the other side. I like it. It's simple though, no words. I love an album cover with no words on it. Just clean. I'm interested just to hear how like light this sounds. They introduce clean vocals. I've heard, so getting in a little bit more into my relationship with this band, the only song I've heard off of this album has been the fourth track there, the single Easily Erased. That was their lead single from this. And I gotta say, wasn't for me. I like it's not that I didn't disliked it deeply. I found it to have a lot of what I wanted, but then had one specific element that I could not get behind, and that was the clean vocals. I love clean vocals in music and in heavy music, but specifically, I felt like the dude, the drummer, his nickname is like Smile or something. Cheese. His nickname is Cheese. Tim Cheese Sullivan. The drummer sings a lot of the clean vocals with this band. Just too high. It's like out of his range, and it feels like uncharacteristic for Boundaries in my listen, and it really took me out of the album. So I'm like interested to hear like will I enjoy that element of this album because I have in the past with them, or is it going to be kind of more like that where it feels like a little strained? They were amazing live. I would say that's what really got me into them. I had like found out about them with Burying Brightness, and I liked a couple songs from it, but they didn't really like sink their teeth into me until I saw them live. And they were at Underground Arts with Dying Wish, and I mean they hit, man. They had like, I felt like all of the spoken word sections in any of their songs really like felt super powerful and impassioned. The vocalist Matt, he's got such a like thick scream and growl, and it just sounds really angry in a beautiful way. Kind of made me reevaluate them a little bit, and they really climbed my ranks after that. And then of course, like I'll never forget, there's like a bouncer there. There's like this older bouncer on stage. It was unclear if he came with the band or if he was part of the venue. I have no idea, but it's like older, super jacked black dude up on stage, and he was singing every word to these Boundary songs and like getting in people's faces and like screaming the words back at them. And it was like, wow, this is so cool. And we're going to do Turning Hate into Rage to get us started. Right out of the gate with Panic chords.
How does it must be to be made new every day, to never be bruised by what you believe? Show me, show us what you really are. I live and die by your comparison, your immortal perfection. Freshly severed in all my ears.
Definitely a lot more metalcore. Yeah, I definitely am hearing some production things too, Nikki.
I've seen how the story ends. The lucky ones are left to mourn the dead.
All right. There we are. Turning Hate into Rage. I definitely, I mean, coming out of the gate real strong with the like panic chords just right out of the gate, like no silence. Like we're launching into this, baby. I like that. I always think it's so yeah, two lines in this that are like borderline parody, but like I'll forgive, you know. I hope it's loud and clear. I fucking hate you. That's kind of fun. We'll see how direct the rest of the album is too. And obviously this world is evil and I am the devil. I think when people do that shit in hardcore and like heavy music and heavy metal, it's like I find it a little cringy. Like I am the devil or I am evil. I'm whatever. But I love that like just chunky layered guitars chugging after that. It feels like you're sinking into hell, you know. And I kind of believe him. So I feel like Matt's vocals, I can't describe him any other way but thick. He sounds like he's got like a 10-foot wide neck and is just like screaming into the mic, and I really like it. Yeah, I mean, overwhelming negativity. That's going to be the name of the game today, I think, as far as the content goes. Hopefully, not the review. And yeah, speak about the production, Nikki. Like you said, it does sound, and maybe I just like bumped something or changed my setting somehow. It does sound like it's like a little bit thinner than I would expect vocally, or that there's like it's a little buried in the mix, and I'm hoping that changes, or maybe I can just figure out if it's on my end. But I'm a little nervous about that because it's got real good chunky guitar sounds, but I'm a little bit like I want Matt's thickness to kind of overwhelm me a little bit more. So for me, Resting Heart Rate, solid track. Don't hate it at all. Let's keep it moving. Darkness Shared.
Shared, systematic, dramatic. You make me sick.
Bring on the riffs, baby.
To let you hurt me. The longer you're alive, the less places in history ever come close to what you've done to me. I will never.
Here we go. First real chorus. Yo. This was just hiding right underneath. I had no idea. And then bam, coming in right at the end with just like, oh, that was so cool. Such a cool way to like make the track kind of build right at the end, just getting faster and faster and faster. This song does feel like the natural progression of Boundaries. The tempo changes are awesome. I totally agree, Mike. I think these, like, lyrically, I think this feels like exactly what Boundary songs sound like, with these like repetitive kind of like plain English, like, you know, low metaphor or easy to understand metaphor, but like repetitive lines that people can like latch onto and scream back, right? That was what was so magical about the show, was that it, like, people, I mean, like, you know, most concerts you go to, people know every word, but it felt like even if you didn't know every word with Boundaries, you could like catch up and join in, because it was like easy to figure out. You know, like I think My Body is a Cage is maybe one of their biggest songs. And like the pivotal line, my body is a fucking cage. It holds in all of the things I hate. Simple, easy to remember. Like you hear it once and you can be like, what was that song again? That went like that. And then you find it, no problem. Something like this at the end, I am less, I am more, I am less, I am more. Really, I think it's really easy to jump on board with that. There was another one too that really caught me. I'd rather be someone I hate than let you hurt me. Again, like raw, painful, but like simple enough to just like figure it out. It's a little different than like cattle forced forward, right? Like that's a bit more artistic, a little bit harder to like just maybe. I mean, if you're a fan of the band, you're gonna remember it, but you're not gonna like be able to jump on board at a concert, something like that. But yeah, this feels like the natural extension of where they're going. But they have a full blown chorus. I mean, it's hard to call it a chorus because it only happens once. And that actually made me like it more because I didn't love the chorus. I feel like, the vocals are fine. It didn't grate on me. It just didn't like, it was a new color, and I appreciated that new color, but like, I don't even remember how it goes. It's not catchy. It doesn't come back. So it's not like meant to kind of stick with you. But it wasn't offensive yet. So I feel like I like that they're playing with some more colors. Really exciting. And then, yeah, obviously the build at the end. They also, this features like those atmospheric guitars that I feel like come in a lot of the time. And it's not atmospheric, like kind of synth driven, but it's just atmospheric of just like playing more arpeggiated chords. And they sort of like, it's like distortion that it feels like it's this like looming presence or this like atmosphere filling the room that's like waiting to then like take you away. And especially at the end of this, it's waiting to like whisk you away with this I am less, I am more. And then you're like being pulled into the void, which is kind of like the album cover. So for me, I'm going to give that an off the charts. It's a light off the charts, but I'm into it. Let's see where we go from here. I should note before we dive in further, album length on this one, 33 minutes, 10 seconds, spread out over 12 songs. Real, short, simple track list. Love it. Hit hard and get the hell out of there, and that's what we want to see. We also didn't predict best songs. Should have done that before we listened to 2, but let's throw it in the chat. I feel like, Mike, I think you've heard this album, so maybe you already have an opinion. But I'm going to call the best song. I'm going to give it to Blame's Burden, because even though Marcus Vick is from Invent Animate, I believe, and that's not a band that I like know a whole lot about, but I feel like the two of them together may be, it may have the potential to deliver something special, and we'll see if I'm accurate there. So we'll get your predictions in as we listen to Like Petals from a Stem. I had a feeling. I had a feeling we wouldn't be noisy for the last 15 seconds of this song. Ooh. Nice little vocal sample at the end. But I can't bear for you to forget me. Yeah, yeah. This is fucking sick. I'm gonna give that an off the charts too. It's short again. Like the theme here is hit it and quit it, as Nikki said. Like just fucking get in, make your statement, get out, and pretty hard to argue with that here. I mean, like it's just a heavy as shit song talking about an urge to kill and hunt you down. Like what is who hurt him? You know, I want to know more about this. That's the frustrating thing about not having a Wikipedia. Couldn't find a whole lot of stuff on Reddit or anything. Like, not a lot of quotes floating around. It just makes me lean in, be like, well, where does this? What's behind this anger? Is it thematic? Is it about that thing about the Dante? This idea of like your life, you know, you're not gonna kill yourself because it's like. What was the actual quote here? It's just like not worth it. It's just another thing. Yeah, your life is at its most difficult. So you're just like so stressed. You know, you're not gonna do it because it's no different than what you're going through right now. Yeah, that's intense. Let's keep going. Oh, I should. Nikki shouted this out as her probably favorite song on the best song on the album. She missed the fact that I said I heard it before and I didn't love it. It's fine, but I didn't love it. Let's see if my opinions change. Shaking it out. Prepare the ears. Let me get ready. I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna give this my all. I'm going to give this a good college try. We're all going to listen. Nothing. I've never heard it before. Don't know what I'm about to listen to. Let's go. And first time of ever hearing it. I don't know what's going on. Easily erased.
I still see you when I close my eyes. I can't even notice when you're not near me.
So you love this intro.
Now something's never changed. All of this time, and I still can't keep the peace. Will you break all of the promises that you made? For you, it should be easy to erase.
I do like that. I like how it just gently transitions into a chord progression. The riffs do hit. I'll give you that. That's the one that bothers the shit out of me, man. It just taking the instruments out, dropping it all out. It doesn't feel like he can hit that note well enough. It's like sandpaper. Nikki nailed it.
Most days I wish I never met you.
And here we go. Get nasty.
We'll take a loaded gun to my life. Your hands are covered in the blood of the weak and the willing.
There's that slow chunkiness. Yeah. Oh, guys, it's it's got to be arresting for me because I just can't get over it. It's a tragedy because Mike, I understand why you love that song. It the parts that aren't the chorus, I feel like are so strong. I love the lyrics. They feel like they have a great balance of metaphorical and like simplistic kind of like conversational. I love, I do like, I mentioned it coming out of that first chorus, how it just falls into like a palm muted chord progression and immediately feels like a little bit more accessible and a little bit more, yeah, accessible is the term I would use. Just like a more accessible version of the intro, because I think the intro pounds so hard in the beginning. The outro, it's just so it's sludgy. It feels like Hartford County Misery era. It's like, oh, it's just thick mud. It's like some of the highest highs of the album for me, mixed with like the lowest low so far, where it right here where the sound comes out. Like, let's listen to this again. I swear, maybe it's just like my ears, I can't pick it up, but it's just grating to me. And I love scream sing bands. It's not about that. It's about specifically this vocal line in particular.
I try for the first time in my life. Will you break all of the promises?
Yeah, I just can't do it. It feels like the peripheryification of Boundaries, because Spencer Sotelo, who I do really like Periphery. Like, that is a Spencer Sotelo ass line, the way that it just flies up there and is like super head voice. I'm gonna need some more from Tim Cheese Sullivan to cleanse my palate on that. Let's keep it moving. Nick, you'll have to update us on if that's the best one in the end. I mean, you said it's the best one so far, but let's see what else we got with Cursed to Remember. Ooh. Starting with some clean vocals. Yeah, I'm way into that. Melodic guitar in there. Oh, that's a tasty riff. Gross. It's nasty.
One last kiss. Find peace in this place. To think this is how it has to stay.
Almost feel a little like higher pitched scream there that I'm used to hearing. Maybe it wasn't Matt. Oh. Some sampling. This feels new. Like, I don't remember this being a part of their sound before. I might be misremembering. There may have been shades of it. Sprinkles. This is that's a real hefty use of it for them. Nice. This was, I'm going to give this one an off the charts, I think. Like a pretty solid off the charts for me too. Yeah. I'm assuming it's the same clean vocalist. I guess it's not a fair assumption to make necessarily, because I know think as their guitarist also contributes vocals. I just think from seeing them live, I don't remember him singing. I remember him contributing more screams. But like, as much as I thought Easily Erased sounded like a clean vocalist trying to pretend to be someone else, this felt like he was so much more in his pocket and natural, and like he even added some grit in the first verse a little bit that sounded really awesome. This is just like throwback scene music through and through. You know, I feel like it might be a little bit cheesy lyrically. Sweet Little Misanthrope, you know, it's like depending on who's singing that, like is that a Brendan Urie line, or is that a like an Acacia Strain line, you know, who's singing it? How does it sound? What does it mean? Either way, it's probably been sung before, you know? Yeah, I think it, like, sonically, content wise, one of their weaker songs, or I guess like lyrical content. I mean, I feel like it's one of their weaker songs so far, but sonically into it. And starting out a Boundary song with clean vocals. Who knew this day would come? Let's keep it rolling. Death is Little More, the title track. Right back to the heavy. Okay, solo. Okay, harmony guitar. Damn. Well, we get the right here, the thematic line: life is a fucking war and death is little more. But these last three lines here definitely hit me relatively hard with some stuff going on in my life. This was fine. I feel like, you know, on the shorter side, so it didn't like necessarily develop, but it didn't feel like as crushingly heavy as their previous short song. So it's sort of like, it doesn't really like have much of a sonic standout moment to me. The guitar melody, I guess that's really the thing to remark on here, is like the guitar solo or extended like harmony section feels like it feels new to them a little bit. I don't remember if they've had solos in their work or not. They certainly, I feel like they weren't as long as that. It sounded fine. I'm a guitarist myself, so I kind of like perk up when I hear guitars taking some leads, and I think it was okay. You know, it's not. I'm not gonna like immediately worship Boundaries as guitar heroes at this point. So that's arresting for me. Let's move on for A Pale Light Lingers.
Another day, dragged on, it's a sleepless night. Monuments to every meaningless goodbye, and a purpose I have yet to find.
This is the Runner in a Circle song. There's gotta be one.
The difference between you and me is my reality. Was never gonna be your dream. The roots of you run with ruin. Nothing it will grow.
Doubling cleans and the harsh vocals.
My life lived with nothing to show. Torches like the beat.
Ooh, I like that transition a lot.
I am your sacrifice. I am yours. There be dead. I forgive.
Oh yeah, nice. letting it breathe. Where are we right now? Pure electronic DJ land.
Splash against my skin. Under the shadows of your face. You are now. Too many years spent. Feeling fucking worthless. Corruption's a farm.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool song. I really like that one. I feel like this one's going to be a divisive song a little bit. What do y'all think about that one? It feels like it's got the room to go either way because there's that huge sampled section in there, which is like very, it's longer than I thought it would be. And it's like a very distinctive section, but then it's got the moment. It's got one of those moments that I was talking about before. Which one was it? Now, I'm so bad with lyrics. We're going to take a second to talk about lyrics in a second. Was it this? I fucking burn for you, where one of those moments where everyone in the crowd is going to like scream that out at the moment. I feel like that moment's really exciting. Loki Kyoch. I need to find a pronunciation guide on this person's name because who we're listening to next week. The vocalist from Alpha Wolf coming in, just like really interesting. And I mean, infect, kill, repeat as an ending line. So fun. I'm going to give that one an off the charts. I thought that was super fun. I'll definitely want to revisit that later. I struggle with lyrics with music like this. In general, I struggle with lyrics. I struggle to listen to and comprehend them because I think I'm like focusing on the like technical, the ways like the guitar riffs meld from one to the other, like envisioning them played on a fretboard. I'm hearing like little drum hits and cymbal hits. I'm like zeroed in so hard on the music to the point where I honestly don't know how people like understand lyrics the first time they hear them and think, oh my God, that's amazing. Like obviously I pick up some as I go, and right here we're looking at them all. We're looking at them this whole time. But as soon as the song ends, I'm still like, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue what part was what. I remember the like contours of the track and like where it went and how did it make me feel. So Nikki's talking about being pure lyrics. Let me know. Are you a lyrics person? Are you a music person? Are you both? I can't comprehend you lyrics people. After the fact, and I look it up, I can get behind it. And I definitely appreciate lyricism, but it's not going to be the first thing that attaches me to most tracks. It's just like really, really tough. It's like a lyric is more about the sounds it makes than the words for me. And I don't know how to get around that. We're past the halfway point. Oh, we're a couple songs past the halfway point now. So let's keep it rolling. Face the Blade. Which, no lyrics. Just as I mentioned that I barely understand them.
My insides spill onto the pavement, mimicking a field of orchids.
Spoken words, baby.
A beautiful arrangement, the kind you wouldn't believe if you had seen it. No feeling is permanent. Change is mine to have should I choose it. But before these choices can be made, I have to face the blade. Feels like vengeance.
I like that. I like the way that pulls out and lets the vocals just shine at the end. I just went back like as if I could find the lyrics, but I don't know. It helps to have the name as we're talking about it. That was pretty good. I'm such a sucker for spoken word stuff. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's like, as much as I just talked about the lyrics being so difficult to latch onto. Maybe that's what it is about spoken word with music like this, is like it's just a little bit more clear for me. It's like I can like latch onto it. And of course it's all about delivery. And I feel like, again, like I said, that this guy, like live, I feel like he's like speaking right to my soul, you know? It's like, I'm ready. Like, yeah, tell me every word of it, you know? Like, let's get into it. And it finally showed up here 8 tracks in. So I guess, like, yeah, when it comes to a rating, I mean, I feel like it's a resting heart rate just because, like, we've heard it before, except the spoken word part. And I'm eager to hear more of that, because I don't think, as much as it builds to face the blade, I don't think it doesn't have that raw resonance like some of his other spoken word tracks, like on Realize and Rebuild from the last album. So let's move on to Scars on a Soul. Tyler, I wonder if you knew what you got yourself into with this music.
What the fuck are you looking at? What are you trying to say? How much is enough for you to be pleased? Try to display myself for everybody. Shoulders round and forward, curled up in the corner. Tremors under my skin, expose my hesitation. Where do I begin? It's so much easier to look at what is
Guitars just sounding like bees.
to think about all the things I'll never live. We've done nothing to change the course, so we've been here before. Life doesn't give anything that I will reclaim. Will you walk with me into entropy? To live a life we find worth missing.
He's showing up again, and I like him.
Uncovered of defeat. My mind and my motivations exist in bitterness. I cannot know the justice of your resentment.
Right into the slam.
Treasure is limits.
Let that production come in. Let it shine, baby.
We've done nothing to change the course, so we've been here before.
Yeah, that's definitely an off the charts for me. That might be my favorite song on the album so far, I think. I really like how it's blending, you know. This is a great example of how, like, I got nothing personal against the clean vocalist here. Like, I love it. Give me that, just like sprinkle in. It feels so classic. It feels just like, this song feels like maybe one of the more accessible songs on the album. And I mean, I love that shit. I feel like it's great to have a song where, you know, I can just like come in and sing every now and then, you know. I feel like it really ups the enjoyment. And it does that cheesy production thing, which I guess I don't love that, to be honest. I feel like where it like takes the bass out, it's like all treble for just like a line or two to make it's like an artificial build, you know. It's like the song itself doesn't have a build at the end, so they're like, we're gonna make it sound a little bit more intense by just like rolling back the bass and kind of letting its return signify that, like, oh, this is more powerful. But the thing is, like, it does have a build at the end. It has this, it slows down, as Boundaries is wont to do, you know, with that like chunky section at the end. So like, I think it's not the most perfect, or arguably it's the most perfect song on the album. Like, as far as compositionally, it feels accessible. It feels like, of course, this wouldn't be the lead single because it's not, it's a little bit too accessible for their crowd, but it easily could. This is the third single. So this actually, Just looking it up, this is the third single off this album, and that actually makes perfect sense to me. That's like, okay, we've released some heavy shit, so we can tell our fans like, we got you. We're not going octane core with this. And then we release this to like get some new folks in who might be intrigued. It's cool. It's cool. I'm into it. All right, Blame's Burden. This the one? This is the one that I thought would be the best song on the album just based on the title alone. Gotta tell you, it's not starting how I imagined it would. Marcus featuring Marcus Vick of Invent Animates. This is a bummer that the lyrics aren't on because this fucking rules. Nice keys on that. Where are we right now? This is so different. Alright, we start at 25 seconds. Where are we going with this? It's the last lyric. I think we're just fading out atmospherically. We're just ending, gentle ending, soft landing. Yo, I mean, if there has, I mean, I nailed it. I don't care what anyone else says. I nailed it. That's an off the charts. That's my favorite song on the album so far. I think it's got so many colors. It's showing something new. It's got those like that like synth backing that comes in there. That's like a new feature for this, at least as far as this album goes. I think the guest vocals, Marcus Vick, Invent Animate, sound great. The lyrics on this one, and of course, this hits at what I think in exactly the wrong time. And this is my third week. I don't know how to change the view fast enough to figure it all out. So fuck me. I guess I gotta learn something because I feel like these lyrics are the most like plain and simple, but like powerful and gut wrenching. And I should have had them up so I could read them to you, some of them, because like they really hit me in particular with this one. And I just like, I'm going to need to listen to this one again when it's over. I didn't do it when the track was on, but this gets a like from me. Absolutely. Just the way it begins. I can hardly breathe. My blood can't hold its heat. I'm right where I'm supposed to be, but I'm still not happy. Life was so simple when I was miserable. The unspoken struggle of moving on. And it just goes on and on and on. I feel like it's an accessible, a lyrically accessible song, and it feels crushing and devastating and hopeless in the way that this album is kind of striving to be, the unspoken struggle of moving on, how hard it can be when we have to move on from anything. It's definitely, you can feel like you're on the right path on one hand, you can feel like you're on the right path. And on the other hand, it's just not, it's still miserable, whether things change or whether they stay the same. Nikki's throwing some lyrics in the chat. Thank you for that. Let's keep it rolling. We got another feature coming up. Matt Honeycutt, Blood Soaked Salvation. Also no lyrics for this one. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Matt Honeycutt's from Kublai Khan. Here it is.
A thousand ashes crashing the sky. Is cold. Gone down to the ground and bushes. Sick and frail, falling on the gates. A ghost looking at an arrow.
That's a cool guitar line on that.
Kiss of Christ, grounded in the night. Where the sun never shines.
And there we are. I admittedly have never really listened to Kublai Khan. And I know they're from Texas because their name is Kublai Khan TX. Because there's already, probably 20 bands called Kublai Khan in the world. I did not expect that man to have a Southern accent while screaming. So that's definitely something I'm going to be excited for if I check that band out more thoroughly. Where putting the y'all and y'alternative, whatever you want to say there. This is just like a intense beatdown of a song lyrically. Squeeze your finger, what comes next? Taking my life out of my hands, fucking finally. Like, Jesus hell, dude. I think it's fine. It didn't like stick with me like the previous song. I feel like, again, we've kind of heard it before. But I don't mind it. It still sounds good. It's doesn't overstay its welcome. Again, if you say one thing about this album, it's in, it's out, it's changing, it's shifting, it's moving forward. It's got a lot of different elements, and none of them overstay their welcome. It's awesome. So let's close it out. Let's get to this final song, Inhale the Grief. Another ending with no lyrics, baby. Yeehaw.
Let me lay where I fall. Ordinary and content.
Pull back again.
Myself, the last person I'm willing to help. You'll understand it. The deserve for they undeserved.
That's a line to remember.
Myself before anything else.
I wish this riff was better, because that was a sick moment. A little too simple for my taste.
Living a life of blind desperation. Waiting for I was the worst of myself. The last person that I would have. It's taken me until now to take myself out. I feel like a fuck up. I feel like a failure. But at least it's not every day. And I am getting better.
And just like that, we're out. Nice. I like that. Strong ending. A little jarring to end so fast, but ending on a distinctly positive note lyrically, which is just not really the rest of the album in any way, shape, or form, right? I was the worst to myself, the last person that I would help. It's taken me until now to dig myself out. I feel like a fuck up. I feel like a failure, but at least it's not every day, and I am getting better, right? So that's like one of the first, and it is the last, but one of the first like kind of optimistic notes we hear lyrically in this album. And that's cool. It's cool. I like ending the album that way. And that's what separates a band like Boundaries or any of these melodic hardcore bands. It's, to me, always what like takes them that extra 5%, I think, where you can live down in the mire and the muck and the depression and the darkness, because that's a fantastic note, and I love that note, and I love music with that note, as should be pretty obvious by now on this channel. But like that injection of positivity and optimism even when it's one line at the end of an album, I find goes a long, long way in making me want to re-listen to this, because I know that at least at the end of the day, there's a glimmer of something, as opposed to just like permanent nastiness. Yeah, there's a lot of good solid lyrics in this song too. I crave more more from that one. That's not really a breakdown, but more from that one riff after the vocals cut out. It's just like a little too simplistic chugging for my taste. So overall, I mean, I'll give that one a resting. I feel like I really like it how it ends. But it does miss on a couple notes for me. So that brings us to the end of Death is Little More by Boundaries. What do we think? What were your favorite songs? You can say your least favorite songs too, but if you got some favorite songs, shout them out. Obviously for me, I got Blame's Burden up there at the top. But that certainly wasn't the only gem of this track list, I would say. Scars on a Soul is definitely up there for me as well. I thought that was pretty awesome. A Pale Light Lingers, really great. Cursed to Remember, another one of my favorites there. So I gotta give this thing a rating, and we just rate 1 through 10, and I feel like this was really strong. I was really nervous coming into this because of Easily Erased, and it being the lead single, it featuring these really like soaring vocal passages that felt very distinctly different from Boundaries, from what I knew of them. It just didn't seem, it had some of the best elements of Boundaries mixed with this new interesting color, interesting flavor, but it's not one that I really liked to eat, so to speak. So how would that permeate this album? And for me, I think it easily, like, that aspect of it is isolated entirely to that track for me. Everything else about this album, it's quintessential Boundaries in one breath, where it's got these metalcore, like classical metalcore riffs that are shifting rapidly from section to section, kind of like bludgeoning, slow, beat down, doomy, hardcore sections, these like really plodding, murky sections that often end songs. Some of these really powerful, emotional lyrics mixed with some really more darker, metaphorical violent lyrics. And then besides all of that, we're introduced to a lot more, much more of a sprinkling of clean vocals in how the vocalists play off of each other. I feel like that's the biggest difference in my mind, is hearing 3 different voices distinctly, both in harmony and in opposition. We hear some really a much more accessible sound on some of these tracks, particularly Face the Blade, I believe or Scars on a Soul, particularly Scars on a Soul, which is much more accessible, and like, it obviously is not poppy or like radio driven, but has a lot of the elements of melody and song structure and atmosphere that I feel like give this album a bit more of a lift compared to previous Boundaries albums, and without sacrificing the heaviness. I mean, if you're listening to this thing if you're listening to one song, you might say, oh, it sounds like they've softened up, but then just like hit next and listen to the other songs. They have not softened up one bit. I think for me, this is an 8.
Yeah! That was legitness.
Yeah, it was. Huh?
Yep. That was legitness. That was an 8. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you next week for Alpha Wolf. And until then, my name is Josh, and I've got my finger on the pulse of music. See you next week, everybody.